Welcome to the Rise to Shine podcast with Noelle Custis, where we ignite the spark to discover your favorite self. It is time to get real, ladies. Welcome, friends, to another episode of the Rise to Shine podcast. I'm your host, Noelle Custis. Today, we have a solo episode that literally was not on the itinerary of episodes, but because of a real life experience I had over the weekend, I felt like it needed to be talked about. But before we get started, I wanted to talk reviews. Reviews are magic in the podcast world. They help the show grow, and most importantly, it helps to reach new listeners. So, to express my deepest gratitude, I have been giving away a delicious coffee or tea on me, your choice, to one lucky reviewer on each of my solo episodes throughout the summer. And all you have to do, super easy, is review the show or review an episode on any of your favorite podcast platforms, and you'll be entered to win. And plus, you'll get a little shout out. So today's lucky winner is Malia G, who writes, Noelle really knows how to take a personal approach to transformation. I'm so grateful for her wealth of knowledge and giving demeanor. Oh, thank you so much for that, Malia G. And just reach out in my DMs to claim your prize. You are so, so appreciated. My heart is always full as a podcaster. Honestly, I absolutely love joining you guys every week in this space. And today, I have to tell you, is no exception. Although I'm exhausted today, I'm not going to lie. You're going to learn why. I was actually just so happy to be able to press record and do this episode today. Meeting you all here, it genuinely makes my day. So let's go ahead and begin our show today. I want to just ask this question. What if the key to unlocking happiness isn't about finding more good things, but simply changing your perspective on what's already there? The truth is that in recent years, I have been learning to train myself to see the silver linings. I think I've always had this in me to an extent, but I've also realized even more in really knowing that there is so much power in the way we think, in what we say, the ideas that we let take hold of our minds. It's so powerful. And this last weekend was no exception. This work that I've been doing on myself came at me like a ton of bricks this weekend. I was living a pretty normal day. Actually, it was kind of a really exciting day. I was attending a bridal shower out of town for my sweet friend and boss. I call her my boss. She doesn't like me to say that, but I work with her and partner with her in her nonprofit. And then that evening, I was going to pick up my son from the airport because he was arriving home from his study abroad trip from Barcelona. So we got ready nice and early. My husband was driving us to the bridal shower, and then the phone buzzed. And it was just a simple notification, but one that kind of changed the course of the day and has changed the course of the weekend. And of course, ultimately changes the course of life, really. It was a screenshot from a friend and a picture of my childhood girlfriend who I have known since I was since preschool. And it was followed by OMG, OMG, and all of these crying emojis. And at that moment, everything shifted. I remember feeling immediately like I was going to be sick, and my heart was pounding in my chest, and then it dropped to the floor. You know that feeling of like, oh gosh. I couldn't look away, but I also couldn't look at it either. It was weird. It was just this weird happening. All I could do was repeat, "Oh my gosh, she died. Oh my gosh, she died." It was like this record that was just stuck on repeat, and overwhelm just washed over me. It was like huge waves, and I felt numb. I felt disconnected from everything around me. It almost felt like I was in this movie. And unfortunately, it was a feeling that I've felt before in my life. And I just remember my husband panicking a little bit and just going, "Oh my gosh, what happened? What's going on?" And although today we're not going to be talking about grief specifically on this episode, we are going to be discussing and talking about silver linings. And I want to preface this, and I want to start by saying that I know that grief is a heavy burden. And it's perfectly okay to feel overwhelmed, lost, consumed by it all. There's no right or wrong way to grieve, there's no timeline for healing. And I know that. And I know it's so important for us to remember that we're not alone in feeling this way, because countless women, all of us have walked this path before. And there's women that have walked it before us. And there's countless women that are going to walk this in their life after us. Your feelings are super valid when it comes to grief. And I just want to reiterate that it's so important that we let ourselves feel everything, even the pain. It's really like acknowledging these emotions that we begin to find our way through the darkness, right? And I do intend on, I just want to say this as well, I do intend on diving into grief and really talking about this in a 2 or 3-part series later this year. But again, today is going to be more about focusing on silver linings, because this has been a recent experience in which I was able to tap into that. That's why I'm using it as an example. Silver linings come in all different shapes and forms and spaces in our life and things that we're going through. It just so happens that this last weekend, this is what I went through. And I want to help you as well when we're going through something hard to be able to possibly notice those silver linings. You see, something was shared with me and it was so profound. It was a long time ago as a mentor of mine, and she said, "Life is a tapestry of life is a tapestry woven with threads of joy and sorrow. Sometimes the dark threads seem to dominate the pattern, and it can feel overwhelming, like a storm raging within us. But within these challenges, there's an opportunity for growth, a chance to discover hidden strengths and perspectives." And I have never forgotten that. As a matter of fact, it's written down because it struck me and hit me so deeply. And I think that as we live more life experiences or realize that life continues to move forward, whether we like it or not, we can see it from a place of shifting our focus, looking for the silver linings that often hide in plain sight in order to move forward. It's not looking for more, it's looking at what is around us right now. So perhaps there's a difficult situation and it's led to a new connection. Maybe that's the silver lining. Maybe it's a personal breakthrough or a deeper appreciation for what truly matters. So when we kind of approach things with this intention, oops, sorry for those of you for those of you not watching, I just hit the microphone, but if you are approaching some of these life's challenges with intention, we can actually transform some of that adversity into an opportunity for growth and resilience. And that in itself becomes the gift through the pain. And I'm talking about any of life circumstances. It can even be mild things, right? It doesn't have to be big, heavy things. Again, this is just what I experienced this weekend because here's the thing, God knows that the pain is going to be there. It isn't healthy to stay in denial or bury it, but to feel it and, and I emphasize, and also know that there is goodness in the present as well. As a matter of fact, my friend's sister messaged me yesterday and she just sent a really sweet message acknowledging a post that I had made and just reached out to me and she just said, you guys were like the little sisters, all of my little sisters. And she said to me that all of our comments and all of our posts and all of us talking about her has given her actually joy in the day. And you think, how does someone have joy in the day after losing their sister? But it was bringing her joy. And then she reminded me that my friend was now at peace and that was what was giving her strength. It's those silver linings that help us. And it's what we have right there in the moment. So finding new perspectives amidst these storms can feel like searching for a needle in a haystack at times. But when we have intention, that's what I'm talking about. When there's intention to find the silver linings, that's when there can be shifts and it can make a huge difference. So, going back to that day, I get this text and I'm going through the shock. And I tell my husband that I am going to make a choice to not open this until after the shower because I knew if I did, I was going to fall to pieces. I was going to bawl my eyes out and feel it all. But I needed to tuck it away for a couple of hours. And to be honest, I knew this day was going to come for my sweet, funny friend. But I really had no idea that things had progressed so quickly. So it felt shocking and really painful at the moment. So on this day that was filled with all this unexpected sorrow, I found myself at a bridal shower, a beautiful bridal shower, which was a celebration of new beginnings. And it was this whirlwind of emotions. It was a stark contrast to that heavy heart that I carried. Yet I made this very conscious decision to be present and to savor the joy of my friend and to connect with loved ones and to find gratitude in the simple act of just being together. And talk about growth, my friends. I promise you, this would not have been me a couple of years ago. There is no way I would have been able to see good in that day. I would have spiraled, trust me. I don't know if I would have even made it to the shower. And if I did, I would have been crying. I probably would have, held my breath and gotten through it, but I would have been miserable, literally miserable. Whereas I chose to be present in the moment. And even later that day, picking up my son from his trip, he was flying in from Barcelona after being gone for a month. And I was met with hugs and his smile. And in that instant, the weight of the world seemed to lighten up. And it's where in these moments and these connections, that's what becomes the anchor to the storm. Those are the anchors. And, before we went to pick up my son, my husband and I got to debrief. We went and we actually went and sat at this restaurant and we ate chips and guacamole. And I saw my phone. My phone was like blowing up. And there was just this outpouring of love from friends and childhood friends. And of course, my husband just listening to me. And that evening, after my kiddo fell asleep in the car, driving home on this 2-hour drive, our conversations were about my funny friend. And the outpouring of childhood friends just kept coming. The tribe just kept coming in, people I hadn't heard from for years. And I experienced this really amazing sense of community and support. And it was in those shared tears and laughter and memories that I found the strength and the resilience. It's these experiences that continue to teach me the power of focusing on the present moment. It's really about acknowledging the pain without letting it consume you. It's about finding joy in the small things and cherishing our relationships and recognizing the incredible support system that we may have around us. These are the shifts in the perspective, even though sometimes they may feel subtle, that actually make a world of difference. I mean, I want you to think about how many times you have found laughter through the tears, whatever the circumstances are. Again, I'm referring to this situation, and I know there's situations that are even heavier, and you may not find the silver linings right away, and that's okay. Because the days following were absolutely a whirlwind of emotion. It's Monday, and I just found out Saturday. So it still feels raw. As a matter of fact, yesterday I spent hours talking to friends, probably repeating stories over and over and over again. And I didn't get to bed until super late. And now I have this full day ahead of me with this full calendar. And I have found that while there is no one size fits all approach to healing, there are certain practices that can be helpful when we're going through it, whatever that it is for you. Journaling has been a lifeline for me. I talk about it all the time, I know. But it really is a place where I can process my thoughts and feelings without judgment. I think that's the biggest thing for me. There's no judgment that comes out or comes at me. And then, of course, mindfulness and prayer, those have helped to anchor me in the present moment. And it really helps me to reduce feeling so overwhelmed, because that's my tendency, is I start to feel overwhelmed when hard things are happening. Spending time with my family, also a huge lifeline. And your family may look different. Your family might be your friends. It may be your next door neighbor. It may be a coworker. There's also practices of grounding techniques. Just being in nature can be soothing. So you could take a walk and listen to music. Anything that's going to help you be in a space where you can process and you can notice what is going on around you at that very moment. Again, you don't have to add things to your life. You already have them. So many of those silver linings are already there. It's the gratitude of the little things. Stories were a huge piece for me to laugh with my friends and to remember her wit and her humor. Oh my gosh, we have the funniest stories about her. And sharing these stories together just connected us again. And that was another piece of the silver lining. I had more beautiful conversations with people I had not talked to in years, and it literally just touched my soul so deeply. I kept thanking my friends for those moments because she would have loved that for us. I can't tell you how many people we were all saying to each other when we'd hang up the phone, "I love you." And for some of those people, when was the last time I heard them say that to me or I said that to them? And I know that they do and they know that I do, but we said it out loud. We didn't care. We would say, I can't, again, so many of us in different conversations were like, can we just press a little pause and can we all just come together and just talk about the memories and laugh and cry and dance and just be ourselves and not care what we look like, not care where we're at in our lives, but just be. And then we would laugh because we're like, okay, she's probably giggling right now because honestly, she would be like, "Okay, girls, get a room. Like, come on. Get over this. Celebrate me." That's what she would want. She's probably giggling right now, even thinking that I'm recording a podcast using this experience as a foundation of silver linings. She's probably like, "Oh my gosh." Like, believe me, she would feel honored. She would feel honored about it. And that's what makes me smile as well, because she seriously was one of the most, she was just like the funniest person I've ever met. And so I think it's just important to remember that everyone's journey is unique. And some days are going to be filled with light and sunshine, while others are going to be darker, more cloudy. And it's okay again to not see the silver lining immediately, because grief and loss and just life's challenges alone can be overwhelming. But with time, this is where patience and self compassion, you're going to find yourself getting through it. And when you start to incorporate some of the practices and put them into your routine, just like that daily gratitude, I was just on a call with clients talking about the practice of gratitude. When that becomes just a part of your life and it's set with intention, you are intentionally making a choice to do that every single day. That's when we start, without even realizing it, having the tools to navigate life storms with greater resilience and with hope. And, let's be real. As a woman, we wear a lot of hats. We're mothers, we're daughters, we're partners, we're friends. And our ability to navigate life's challenges with grace and resilience can impact other people around us. And it doesn't always have to look pretty and perfect. Please know that. But our children are watching us and they're learning valuable lessons on how to handle adversity, because it's here, my friends. It's going to happen no matter what. When we start to demonstrate vulnerability and strength together, that's when we start to empower them to do the same. Because let me tell you, if you have little ones still, it's a whole different ballgame when they get older. And I've been able to witness firsthand the impact of my journey on my own daughter. She has seen me at my lowest and my highest, and her words of encouragement have been a source of massive strength. Friends who know my tendency to deeply feel my emotions have expressed surprise and even some admiration for my ability to be able to process pain and emerge with this newfound perspective. Because, like I said, that wasn't who I was before. I would be in a ball in bed for days. Or I'd be distracting myself with so much busyness that I just didn't even have time to deal with it or cope with it. So I just want to say, let's be those examples of strength and resilience for the women. And you owe it to yourself to be able to navigate the hard things that are going to be a part of our life, and some of them very unexpectedly. And I want to show the world that it's okay to feel deeply and to experience setbacks and to also rise from adversity. And I really believe that by sharing our stories, we create this really powerful community of support, and we remind each other that we're not alone. Because I think loneliness and feeling like you're alone in situations definitely can wreak more havoc. So, in this moment, as you're listening, or if you're feeling overwhelmed or searching for strength, maybe you're a friend of mine that knows exactly who I'm talking about. You were one of those people that I had a conversation with. Just know that you are seen and you're heard, you're understood. We face challenges and it's okay to not have answers. Maybe you're even in the midst of your own storm right now, and the silver lining still seems way far away. Remember that even in our darkest hours, even in our biggest challenges, there's always a flicker of light. And it could be that supportive friend, it could be a memory, it could be your faith, it could be the strength that you're starting to find within yourself. It all matters. It all matters. So let's just redefine what silver lining means. It's not just about finding the good in bad situations, because I think that is a misconception. It's not good that someone passed away. It's not good that we've gone through a challenge necessarily, but it's recognizing the strength that we present, or that we are able to possess, and just the resilience that we're able to have. It's about cherishing those moments of joy and gratitude and connecting what's around us, what surrounds us, even in the midst of it all. Because you are capable of incredible things and you're worthy of love and happiness and peace. So let's support each other and lift each other up and find those silver linings that are on our paths, because it's the truth that lies between the tension. I have another mentor that always says that. We can smile even when we're sad. And that is part of being authentic. It's not being fake. There were a lot of beautiful moments that day, but there were a lot of sad moments. So, as we wrap up today's conversation, remember again that you're not alone in your journey. Your finding silver linings are going to be inspiring to others. So let's continue to support each other and share our stories and really create a world where there's hope and kindness, and that's what prevails. So thank you so much for joining me today. And remember, it is never too late to step into your purpose and create the life of your dreams. And until next time, keep rising, keep shining, and know that the best is yet to come. Bye, you guys. Thanks for joining me here today. Your presence means the world to me. If you enjoyed what you heard, please consider leaving a rating and review. And don't forget to follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. Head to the show notes and let's connect. Rise to Shine Co. is ready to support you in coaching, collaboration, life tips, or even a coffee chat. Until next time, keep shining, my friends.